There is a guy on YouTube. He's called the Crowd and Tea. And in a recent video he made, he set his sights on me.
Crowd and Tea made a video entitled The Muslim Problem. Europe needs its own secular movement. For some reason that we will try to figure out together, much of the video is dedicated to attacking me. Let's watch and see what he's on about, shall we?
I did my first live stream on this channel on the day of the Belgium terror attacks. That night I was watching a stream on a channel called Meridian Frost with the title Politics and Terrorism. That channel being an atheist channel, I was assuming that the recent attacks would be something they would be talking about. I got increasingly frustrated over time when I noticed that everything was being debated except the terror attacks. And in the chat I noticed a Belgian who himself got increasingly frustrated. I wrote him a message, added him on Skype, and we with guests coming from Germany, Britain, Sweden.
Let's just skip to the part where he talks about me, huh? I think that'd probably be better for us.
But there is an attack taking place against our societies, specifically against the secular framework and the humanistic framework of our societies. And it comes from the religion which the American atheist community either avoids to tackle or desperately tries to talk around, as if it were somehow a non-issue. Take this. According to the amazing atheist, you should be more scared of diseases than those hostile communities in Europe. You know, because apparently Muslim theocratic violence and authoritarianism should just become another part of daily life. Just like the fucking flu.
So, alright, you sauerkraut. You get it? Sauerkraut. Take your fucking feels out of the equation for a minute. Take your politics out of the equation and look at this shit objectively. How many Europeans died in car crashes in 2015? 84,589. How many died of the flu? Well, that's actually a hard statistic to find, but in the U.S., where the mortality rates are similar to Europe, the CDC says that depending on the severity of the flu strains and the length of the flu season, both of which change by year, there are anywhere from 3,000 to 49,000 deaths a year from the flu in this country alone. In Western Europe, in 2015, the grand total of people killed in terrorist attacks was, drumroll please, 150. That's it. 150 people. More people die in my country every year from choking on their food. That's 4,000, just in case you're curious. Look, to be fair to you, I understand full well that we can't get so bogged down in the quantitative that we ignore the qualitative. I mean, Islamic terrorism is a real threat. It should be taken seriously. But let's resist the urge to let terror cloud our judgment, because that's exactly what the terrorists want. They want your terror. My advice is don't give it to them. You play into the hands of violent Islamists when you inflate the threat they pose so ludicrously that any opinion or any option, no matter how extreme, seems palatable and worthy of your consideration. All right, let's proceed.
His friends and him built their entire YouTube career on slamming the evangelical Christian movement in the United States from their house in the middle of cornfield Fuckistan. And from their hillbilly American-centric worldview, their perception of the world is that you, who lives in Berlin, Paris, Munich, Brussels, Marseille, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Antwerp, or any other place in Europe should be more scared of some redneck fuck who would probably run out of breath after running for 20 minutes than of the Muslim migrant who believes he has God's authority to murder you should you mock his religion.
I live in Columbus, Ohio, whose metropolitan area is home to nearly 2 million people. It's not a cornfield, okay? Even if it were a cornfield, I mean, like, who the fuck are you to denigrate those who grow food, you piece of shit? Farmers do a lot more for society than you and I sitting here whining on fucking YouTube all day. Yeah, the problems. I'm an angry neckbeard and no one cares. Ah. But that's really besides the point. The real point is, are you really saying to us, to Americans, that we don't understand terrorism? I hate to play the 9/11 card, but 9/11, you stupid piece of shit! You know how you're crying like a little faggot because some terrorists killed 150 people in all of Western Europe in a year? Well, I don't know if you heard, but one time we were attacked by Islamic radicals and they killed 3,000 people, injured 6,000 others, and another 1,000 or so people who were in Lower Manhattan that day got cancer as a result of the toxins they were fucking exposed to. And then we as a country have been perpetually at war in Islamic countries ever since then. In Iraq, 4,425 American soldiers died fighting Muslim extremists. Another 32,223 were injured, and that's just Iraq. In Afghanistan, 2,326 soldiers have died fighting radical fucking Muslims. 20,083 were injured. These wars have also cost our country anywhere from $4 to $6 trillion. Sure could have used that money when our economy crashed in 2008. Then again, maybe without that expenditure, it wouldn't have crashed in the first place. Where the fuck do you get off telling us Americans we don't know what it's like? What don't we know exactly? We don't know the deadly potential of terrorism? Guess what, bitch? If the death rate from Islamic terrorism in all of Western Europe were 10 times greater than it was in 2015, it would still only get you halfway to the death toll of 9/11. I think maybe we have some idea what it's like. Also, it's not like we haven't had further Islamic attacks in America since 9/11. San Bernardino shooting? Does that ring any fucking bells? How about the Boston Marathon bombing? Maybe the Fort Hood shooting? Is this jogging your fucking memory, asshole? Is any of this sounding familiar? It's amazing to me that you accuse us of ignorance when clearly you're the one who has no idea what the fiddle fucking fuck you're talking about. Now, I will say, in fairness, that much of your video is correct. When you talk about the danger Islam poses to your country by refusing to integrate and adopt the pluralistic values of the West, I think you're making good points. You're absolutely right about that being a huge problem for countries like Germany. And how Germany chooses to deal with the problem is up to Germany. I mean, you know, as long as you guys don't go too overboard again like you did the last time you blamed all of your social ills on some minority group. That's all them. All our problems are them. I don't take many issues with your criticism of Islam, though. All jokes aside. And frankly, I'm perplexed that you singled me out for scorn as weak on Islam. At the height of the Quran burning controversy in America, I burned a fucking Quran on my YouTube channel.
What is this, a 61-cent lighter? I don't know. Of course, the values found in this book can't really be destroyed just by burning it. It's just a book. It's paper and ink. This book is a symbol, and when it's on fire, it's a symbol of my disagreement with the values, morals, and customs of Islam.
In support of the Danish cartoonist, I drew a rather unflattering depiction of the Prophet Muhammad.
Maybe give him like a badass scar right of his eye. Ooh, you got a scar, and it comes out the other side. Like someone like cut him, you know? Because he's like a badass desert warrior.
And I've made tons of videos critical of Islam, which you would know if you weren't too lazy to just go like this.
I bet this amazing atheist doesn't have anything on Islam. Why is my accent now sounding nothing like I sound? He cannot do a German accent. Let me search to see if he has talked of Islam. What is this? He has made many videos on this subject. Why? I was lied to. Why did I not research my video?
The things I've said about Islam that you take issue with are, I think, as follows. I've said that the threat of Islamic terrorism in the Western world has been grossly inflated, mostly by those seeking to control and manipulate the populace through fear. You can disagree with that if you want to. You're always free to be wrong. The other thing I've said that you may not like is that a Muslim ban, like the one that's proposed by Donald Trump, is just a fucking disgusting idea. The First Amendment to the Bill of Rights is freedom of speech and freedom of religion, So creating a religious litmus test for citizenship is completely antithetical to the core values of America. Isn't that what you're afraid of, by the way? Aren't you afraid of your country surrendering its values to Islam? Well, so am I, motherfucker. And to me, giving up on freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of ideas, that is surrender to Islam. Because it's a tacit admission that our values can't survive against the might of Islamism. That's not a concession I'm prepared to make. Now, perhaps this is a uniquely American perspective, because here freedom of speech is valued to the point that we allow the Westboro Baptist Church to protest soldiers' funerals. We allow the KKK to hold rallies. We allow people to deny the Holocaust. We allow people to have and espouse whatever opinions they want, even if they say things that are deeply disgusting, like all homosexuals should be stoned to death. I hope that this has offered you some perspective, Mr. Croughton T. Maybe next time you want to go after someone who's weak on Islam, go after fucking some easy target like Cenk Uygur or something. Chances are his fat ass doesn't have enough time to respond to you. My fat ass does. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out.